you never think it will be you. And then when I was confronted with that moment, I was just in utter disbelief.
It was just before 3 in the 5600 block of South University when campus police say 2 students on opposite sides of the street were approached by 4 suspects armed with handguns.
I'm walking on the sidewalk and I see a man approaching me in a mask and kind of was just like, let me just keep walking.
Maddie says a confrontation happened and the suspect demanded her phone before flashing the gun. The pair got into a tussle.
I was grabbing for maybe my phone, maybe the gun. It's really like a blackout moment for me. And I realized that I was able to grab the magazine out of the gun.
The city of Chicago is warning students to be alert after several armed robberies have been reported on or near campus yesterday. You can see one here caught on camera.
Yeah, Micah and Ray, the first of 2 alleged armed robberies that happened yesterday was right here along this busy stretch of South University Avenue on the university's campus. A young woman was one of 2 victims here. It was an ordinary walk back from class Wednesday afternoon that took an unexpected turn for this University of Chicago senior.
I've always felt safe personally. You know, it's upsetting that as students we get these alerts all of the time.
And Maddie found herself at the center of one issued later in the day by campus police. According to a security alert, 2 armed robberies happened within just 5 minutes. All 3 victims, students.
I've walked that street every day for 4 years, so my guard was down and I would have never expected it to happen there.
Just minutes after that ordeal sent people in the area scrambling to safety. Another armed robbery involving 2 suspects with handguns reported in the 1300 block of East 56th Street. That crime under investigation by the Chicago Police Department.
I want to feel safer on this campus. That's the bottom line.
But I think we can always ask for more from our campus and our city.
Maddie says she hopes fellow students and staff are vigilant and keep their guard up. When all said and done, she says her reaction was a knee-jerk one, and she's thankful to be okay.
I couldn't necessarily really register the threat ahead of me, so definitely wouldn't advocate for fighting back. Losing a life over a phone is definitely not worth it.
A motorcycle rider gets off his bike and pushes a man in a wheelchair across the street before the light turns green.
Look at that. Good deeds, man.
This 15-second video shared hundreds of times as people tried to find the person who jumped off his motorcycle at a stoplight to help a man in a wheelchair cross the street.
Yeah, just like a little superhero. Just coming in and flies in and does his deed and then he's gone.
But his name's not Spider-Man. We got to meet the hero under the helmet, 20-year-old Joshua Reidenbaugh.
I just want to make sure he got across the road before anything bad happens.
His only goal was to help someone else.
So I just hopped off the bike and pushed him across.
He didn't do it expecting anybody to catch it. That's the best part, right? It was just, he just did it and he ran back to his bike and was just gone.
Ralph and his wife Yvonne were the ones who took the video and shared it on Facebook.
How sweet.
And I was very, very honored to see this happening in the blink of an eye. I'm like, I have to catch this because we need more of this.
The couple quickly found out who the stranger on the street was and met for the first time on Friday at the intersection of Courtney and Needle.
And this is an earth angel right here. Yeah. Literally.
Right. This young man's the real deal. He's an awesome kid.
A kid with a kind heart who shows us how important 15 seconds can really be when you're using them for good.
Try to do one good thing a day for someone else. And that's the goal.
And this good deed is really just the beginning of a newfound friendship. Ralph actually wants to help this 20-year-old start his career. The two of them have a business meeting on Monday to talk about opportunities with his company. Ralph says he hires someone based on character, and Joshua's is good as gold. Reporting in Merritt Island, Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
Good evening, and welcome to It's Too Late, where, I like to say, it's never too late to recognize that these demons walk among us. That's right. You saw that first guy in the first segment there. Undoubtedly, that was a demon. And then this biker in the second segment, of course that's an angel. Demons and angels walk among us. These individuals, I don't know that they have a choice. I don't know. But you have a choice. That's why you're watching tonight. And I thank you. So we're going to point out the difference between good and evil on tonight's episode. And maybe we'll learn a thing or two from watching these goofballs. For sure, we're going to learn how to be prepared for them if we see them coming. We're going to open our arms and hug the angels When we see the demons coming, we know what to do.
A little boy shot to death on the 55 freeway in a road rage shooting, and the man who pulled the trigger is now scheduled to spend the next 40 years in prison.
Did some driving maneuver that caused your girlfriend to give the peace sign, that caused the mom to flip off, and that caused you to get behind the car, and in that particular moment, you had the power. You fired, and that little boy died.
The 6-year-old died in a road rage shooting on the 55 freeway in Orange, May 21st of 2021. His mother, who chose not to attend the sentencing, described the haunting moments in trial last month, stating she heard a loud bang, then Aiden yelled, "Ow." She pulled over, got her son out of his booster seat and cradled him, holding his body tightly to try and stop the bleeding. But she noticed, quote, his body was dying very quickly.
Second-degree murder, 15 years to life. And for the use of the gun, the 9mm that he customized, an additional 25 years to life.
The OCDA demanded the maximum sentence, while the defense asked the judge to take into account Eddie's childhood trauma and his young age of 24 at the time of the crime. Eddie's even fighting tears when addressing the judge.
And truly one of God's little angels. And I am so sorry for ever hurting him and for the pain that he went through because of me.
Judge King sentenced Eddie's to 40 years to life in prison. The DA calling it justice for a life taken before it even began.
Okay, you guys, and now for a feel-good story where the angels give this old lady the strength to fight and to survive. She was not going to give up her 85-year-old life.
Bingham County Prosecutor Ryan Jolly says that Derek Condon targeted the house of 85-year-old Christine Janian, and he was prepared to commit acts of violence or even kill when he entered that home. Does it appear that Condon and Christine had known each other previously, or was this attack premeditated?
The victim knew his brother more than him, but he was known to her. He had interacted with her both at her pawn shop, her business that she owned, and he had also had some interaction at the gun range with her. It appears that he picked her specifically because he knew her and knew that she likely would have valuables in her home.
The break-in happened March 13th in the Rose area north of Blackfoot. Local News 8 was the only news source on the scene when law enforcement responded to the call. According to the prosecutor's office, the night of the break-in, Condon came prepared with a ski mask, rope, 2 pairs of handcuffs, and multiple firearms. He also parked his car far enough down the road from Janian's house so it would not be seen. Jolly says the 85-year-old's actions...
That old boy had some really, really bad intent for that old lady.
...and response during the invasion were nothing short of heroic.
She took the steps to defend herself because she didn't know if anybody else would.
Amazing, you guys. That could happen to you, and you must always be able to do just what this old lady did. You can do it.
And then I find it also heroic that she didn't give up. Once she fired, and then he started firing on her, she didn't give up, even though she was hit multiple times.
You guys, that is the most amazing thing. This little old lady, she took rounds into her little old lady frail body, and she kept bringing it. She brought the heat, and you got to do that too. You can do it. That is when you're protecting yourself, of course. That's just for the goofballs that are watching that are like, what is he talking about? I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the government goofballs.
She stayed there. She kept fighting for her life.
The prosecuting attorney says that Janian acted in justifiable self-defense and they would not be seeking any charges.
Of course they're not going to seek any charges. You know why? Because it's Idaho. If that were California, that old lady would have been dragged out of her house in her house coat. It's true, all bleeding and stuff. They'd have her in cuffs, bleeding, and they'd have the ambulance held back like 2 blocks away until they cleared the house. It's true, you know it.
Officials also tell us that she is currently in a recovery center and is expected to be okay. which, at her age, the prosecuting attorney says is nothing short of incredible.
She's awesome, you guys. She's a wonderful American. And I'm so happy that the angels were there to cheer her on. She did it. They gave her courage, and she rocked the free world. That's right. That's how we do it here in America, y'all. You know, you've heard the old saying, you know, heaven helps those that help themselves. But seriously, being prepared and being unwilling to die, well, that may be the thing that saves your life. So if we learned anything tonight, it is that angels are definitely walking among us, whether or not they're in human form or in the form of somebody encouraging us. And demons walk among us, whether they're in the form of human form or, again, they take over somebody's mind and they go crazy and they pop off and shoot a little kid. So keep a watch out, folks. That's what we do. Because even though it is too late, it's never too late. Have a great night.